Hello, my name is Simon. Like all of you, I'm a jammer. A couple of weeks ago, I watched a video of Claude at an event called Octave. I must admit, I was very puzzled by the introduction of your speech, Claude. It was very personal. You talked about your grandfather, named Claude too. You talked about how, in the horrible times of World War II, he had chosen to face adversity. He had chosen to put himself in motion to meet the challenges of his time. It hit something quite deep in me. I thought about my own grandparents. Like your grandfather, they joined the resistance. I look at them as heroes, even though they just told me that they had done what had to be done without asking any questions. In the world that was theirs, they did what they felt was right. And thinking about them really confronted me. In my world, do I do what I feel is right? I look at the impact of our industry on the environment. I look at climate change, its impact on animal species that are getting extinct at a very alarming rate. I look at the anticipated consequences on billions of people, mass exoduses with severe geopolitical implications, victims of increasingly frequent and violent natural disasters, large-scale health and societal tragedies to come. I look at all this and I feel a lot of anxiety and a bit of shame. But today I've had enough, and I want to feel at peace, aligned within my human dignity, and I want to act. What if every morning when I came to work, I knew that my actions were not only beneficial to GEM's growth, but also to others and to the planet? Indeed, that would feel right.
Like you, Simon, I care about environmental issues, and I feel a deep desire to act. For me, it all started 12 years ago with the release of An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore documentary featuring global warming. Inconvenient, indeed. I was profoundly disturbed by the meaning of all this. Global warming was literally earth-shattering. After that, I started sorting my waste a little better and quietly went back to investment banking. Indeed, it was easier not to see, not to fully understand. But over the years, I got over my self-denial. This was one of the drivers that led me to leave investment banking and join NG, with the hope that I could contribute to a better world. I have 4 kids. My latest one is only 7 days old. I want her to live in a sustainable world, respectful of our planet and its people. I fear that one day she will look at me as one of those who have been challenged to create a more conscious and caring world, and that I would have failed. In the history of mankind, our time is one of transition between historical capitalism, based on excessive carbon consumption, financial speculation, and nature plundering, and conscious capitalism. We are one among those who can build the reality of business as a force for good.
This is a challenge that is rooted in the recognition that ecosystems are complex and interconnected, that economic activities have social, societal, environmental, and political impacts, and that all stakeholders, from partners, suppliers, employees, customers, investors, the whole of the society, we have a ever increasing expectations about those impacts. But GEM has heard this calling, has heard this challenge. We recently wrote in our vision statement our purpose. We energize a sustainable world caring about people, profit, and planet. So we want to be sustainable. It's beautiful. But what does that really mean? How do we do this? Where do I start?
There are companies that ahead of us have expressed their will to be more sustainable. Among them, some have become benefit corporations. Corporate entities that include as their legally defined goals, in addition to profit, positive impact on society, employees, communities, and the environment. Is this a path that we, GEMers, will take? We don't know that. But what we do know is that those companies are inspiring. And for Simon and I, they are more than an inspiration. They literally energize us. Benefit corporations have chosen at their core to be sustainable. And for that, they relied on the strength of the AND, A-N-D. People and profit and planet. People, profit, planet, 3 Ps joined into one aspiration, 3 KPIs closely measured. This is called triple bottom line.
The benefit corporation movement has begun to grow in the past decade. It's a movement initiated and supported by really visionary entrepreneurs. One of them is Yvon Chouinard, the CEO of Patagonia. He's famous for printing a full-page advertisement in the New York Times, encouraging its customer not to buy its product. So Patagonia is an outdoor clothing brand, and it's made very strong choices. I'm going to name 3 of these choices. So their products are guaranteed for life and repaired. They ask all their suppliers to respect a charter to limit their social and environmental impact. And any employee can take 2 months working for a non-profit environmental organization of their choice while keeping their full benefit and salary. And Patagonia has been growing its revenue at an average rate of 10% for the last 2 decades. So business as a force for good is good for business. Many companies are now in the B Corp process. Companies of all sizes and of all fields of activities. And beyond the emblematic example of Patagonia, I can name InVivo, Danone, and soon Unilever.
As employees, managers, and teams, we are confronted with many questions. How can we ensure that we act in a sustainable way? How do we know where we start from today? How can we change the way we do business? How can we act on a daily basis, balancing profit with people and planet? How can this be done in practice? There is a resource called B Corp. B Corp is a non-profit organization that provides guidelines, support, and access to a community that cares about 3 Ps. The B Corp evaluation is like a 200-stop road trip. 200 questions designed to help a company assess where it's starting the journey from. 200 reflections which help to mature the type of organization that the company wishes to become. B Corp can also become a certification, a quality label designed to help certified companies develop their business and market it. Indeed, these B Corp companies, or those on the way to become certified, share a common belief. By taking care of all stakeholders, by being more transparent, by changing their supply chain to lessen their environmental footprint, by taking care of their employees and partners, by recognizing the interdependence within their ecosystem, they will provide better products, better services, and expand their business. Because end customers, and ultimately all market players, will ask for sustainable product from sustainable companies. Business as a force for good is good for business.
We energize a sustainable world caring about people, profit, and planet. Our purpose is really strong. Each of us has the power to make it real. Several of us are interested in the notion of sustainability to reimagine possibilities for GEM. This is the right thing to do for us. Today, Claude and I are calling you for action. If it feels like the right thing to do for you, stand up and join us in the Sustainability Working Group. Get in touch. Some of the members will be there at the marketplace right after the talk. If it feels like the right thing to do for you, act at your level. Talk to your managers, to your colleagues, to your teammates. Let's dare to change the world for the better together.
To conclude, we wanted to share with you how we feel with this quotation from Paul Hawken. When asked if I'm pessimistic or optimistic about the future, my answer is always the same. If you look at the science of what is happening on Earth and you are not pessimistic, you do not understand data. But if you meet the people who are working to restore this Earth and the lives of the poor, and you are not optimistic, you haven't got a pulse. What we see everywhere in the world are ordinary people willing to confront despair, power, and incalculable odds in order to restore some semblance of grace, justice, and beauty to this world. Thank you.